Hey, how's it going everyone? Pogo Signs. Once again, thank you so much for stopping on by, you guys. Today we need to talk about perhaps one of the most underrated buffs in the most recent patch, because I think the buff to slow smoke is actually going to be the most significant one. I don't think everyone has realized how strong slow smoke is right now, and I think eventually a lot more people will, and we can see 3, 4, 5 people using it on the same team, and it could just create so much devastation, you guys. So we need to talk about slow smoke. So I decided to make a nice little chart of the timings you can use it, because slow smoke has only a 40-second cooldown, you guys, which technically means you can actually use it 15 times within 10 minutes. I know it's not, probably optimal, because there's going to be many moments where you don't need to use it, but there's going to be at least 10 times I've identified where if you use it, it definitely could help you guys out. So we'll go ahead and talk about that. But let's first look at the buffs that were added to this during the most recent patch, you guys. So for slow smoke, so they changed it so it created a cloud of smoke that greatly decreases the movement speed and basic attack speed of opposing Pokemon for a short time. So the short time is actually not that short, I realized. I feel like it's actually like about 3 seconds long, which is actually pretty insane considering the effects have also strengthened, and I guess they mentioned right there as well, the effect duration lengthened as well. So it was about like 3 seconds if I had to put my finger on it. And the effect strengthening, yeah, it is really difficult to move when you get hit by slow smoke, you guys. It just completely slows you down. I want to say it slows you down maybe like 50-60% maybe. And also on top of that, your attack speed decreases. So this is a great item to have, especially when you're trying to secure an objective. So let's go ahead and take a look at the slow smoke times. So 10 times, you guys, that you can probably use it during the game. I've noticed I probably use it a little bit less, because there are times where I feel like I don't need it. So I'm just pointing out times where you can probably use it and it won't affect you. And the first one, you guys, is probably the most important, and the one that everyone who's running slow smoke is not doing. And that's using it within the first 30 seconds of the game, because there's no cost to you to use it in the first 30 seconds. The reason is because if you use it within the first 30 seconds, that means you used it within 9:30, and then you will get it back by the second bees, which is the first bees essentially. That will be your second slow smoke by 8:50, you guys. 8:50 you'll have your slow smoke again, so there's no reason why you shouldn't use it within the first 30 seconds at all, because if you don't use it within the first 30 seconds, I suggest holding on to it until 8:50. So I see a lot of people have the item and they just don't use it. I personally prefer to use it on that first mid Aldino or that first mid Corphish, whichever lane you're in. I suggest using it. Assuming there's enemies around, you can get a lot of kills right off the bat, and if you can get some kills and you can take all their enemies' farm and maybe even score, you can get a huge advantage at the very start. And then of course the second one at the 8:50 Bs, definitely use your slow smoke there, even if you don't see the enemy. Sometimes junglers, what they do, well, they'll be there probably by like 9:10, 9:05, and they're just sitting there waiting for the bees. So I suggest as soon as the bees come, approach the bees and drop the slow smoke. Slow smoke lasts pretty long as well, the circle of hindrance. Anyone that walks into it will get slowed down. Anyone that walks into it and even escapes still is affected by it. So it's a really strong move, or a really strong item to have. So I suggest popping that slow smoke as soon as the bees come, and then securing the bees, you guys. That's going to be huge, because it also lowers the attack speed. So the enemy also has a much more difficult time even hitting the bees, let alone trying to take them out and get the last hit. The third time you can use slow smoke, or at least the one that I suggest, is something around like 8:10 and 8:08 and 8 minutes. I know it's kind of a short window, but I do think it's a good opportunity to try to fit in a slow smoke there if you can, as long as you don't use it at after the 8-minute mark. If you have time and there's like a melee going on, or there's still farm that you're fighting for, and it happens to be within that 10-second window, definitely feel free to use it, because once again, it's no cost to you guys, no cost to you, because you're going to get it by the 4th slow smoke at 7:20, which is when the second waves of bees come for both lanes. So definitely have slow smoke ready. So after 8-minute mark, don't use it again until the 7:20 mark. That is very huge. You gotta keep that in mind, because the bees are so important. I mean, essentially it's 4 farms, right? Which is huge. That's almost like a whole level if you can secure them all, which will be massive and giving you guys the advantage leading up into Dread, which is the 5th slow smoke opportunity at the 640 mark, you guys. I put at the 640 because most Dread fights I've noticed usually don't start right at 7. That's why I'm more willing to kind of hold on or use my slow smoke at 720 to secure the bees, because I'm pretty confident I'll get it back before a Dread melee starts. Usually everyone kind of just does that little song and dance around Dread before someone dies, and then they go after Dread. I suggest kind of just using it for the bees, get the level up, improve your chances of securing Dread later on anyways with the additional levels, and then dropping the 5th slow smoke around that 640 mark. The next one this is when it gets a little in more gray area, because it depends on how quickly some of the previous objectives have been captured, like Dread and Rotom and some of the farm. So around 5:30 to the 5-minute mark, definitely feel free to drop a slow smoke to help secure bees. Usually there's going to be bees around that time. And then 4:20 to 3:40, that'll be your 7th opportunity to drop slow smoke for Dread Rotom. 3:40 to 2:50, 8th opportunity for drop slow smoke for Dread and Rotom. So you definitely, really, like I mentioned, it really depends on how quickly Dread and Rotom was taken, right? The first one. So definitely don't use slow smoke again after like around the 250 mark, because you want to have it for the Zapdos fight, right? So around like 210, you should have your slow smoke ready, up and able, in case there's like that pre-Zapdos melee, which is happening more and more, because everyone tends to group up at Zapdos right before Zapdos, and that usually creates some sort of fight. So definitely have slow smoke in case you need it for that fight. And then the last one will be happening in the final minute. For sure, the last minute, you'll have a slow smoke, no matter what happens in the first 9 minutes, because the fact that it takes a minute long and slow smoke's cooldown is only 40 seconds. So that'll help you kind of secure some additional scores, maybe help you get away after scoring, maybe help you defend. So definitely feel free, obviously, at that point to use your slow smoke, because it'll be the last one you'll be using for the rest of the game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video on slow smoke. I haven't seen a whole lot of other people talk about it. I feel like some people have started using the new item, but not a lot of people have really dived into it to understand how when you should be using it. Instead, they tend to kind of just use it randomly throughout the battle and not really focusing on the objectives, and how slow smoke is huge with securing so many objectives now. So thank you so much, you guys, for stopping on by. If you enjoyed these type of videos, please consider dropping a like, comment, subscribe for the Pokescience channel, and I'll catch you guys all next time. Everyone have a wonderful night.